And welcome into Half the Distance Live, your weekly barroom commentary NFL podcast. As always, I am Matty Fax, joined by Scotty Staten, a.k.a. Scotty Stats, Brian the Professor, Up Greg, and Dick Woodcock, the great skunk hunter, El Squeakerino, all kinds of nicknames.
You didn't use Dick Woodcock when you were gone.
Did we not say Dick
I don't think we
Woodcock?
said it.
I am making my triumphant return to be the person that was in last place with my picks last week, so I get to use a
One
fucking Packers
correct
pick.
pick.
We're just
One.
glad you're back from
Go
your
ahead and
darkness
pass that
retreat
to-
with Aaron
that-
Rodgers.
My darkness retreat with Aaron Rodgers was overrated. That guy doesn't share any of his shit. You're a Broncos koozie, sir?
Except for COVID.
You're a Giants koozie.
Yeah, just great.
Been a really fun weekend of some games so far. If you are paying attention at all, you know that we are recording right now with the Bills-Chiefs game kicking off here in a few minutes. We're going to do a run through of the last three games that occurred this weekend, and then we'll go through our other little segments. And we'll be signing off before the end of the game because none of you want to hear the screams of either joy or distress that come out of both of our producers.
Yeah.
The joy
Tonight.
ones, yes. The, they're going to blow it. I know they're going to blow it. Even if they're up by like
That's
35.
what she said. Oh, sorry.
So yeah, let's go ahead and start talking about the games that happened yesterday. The Texans traveled to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. This game finished pretty out of range, although for the most part of that game, they kept it close.
So, when you hit playoffs,
Playoff?
you really get to see the teams that are ready to step up and show out, right? Baltimore has been that team. They've looked like a super juggernaut to
Yeah.
finish the season.
Yep.
And the Texans have been feisty and fun and building a really good program from a pretty poor team last year to winning a game in the
Yeah,
playoffs.
yeah.
I think that's really fantastic. But they were out of their depths this year.
It was a 34-10 win for the Ravens.
But
Yeah.
if you're a Texans fan, you're probably pretty jazzed about
Oh,
how the
fuck,
season
yeah.
went. And then also, just real quick on the Ravens, we always say this cliche, but getting hot at the right time. They looked a little in the beginning of the season, but the last half of the season Ravens have been like, hold our dick. And they're just riding that wave of momentum.
Speaking of which, C.J. Stroud had 175 yards passing. Devin Singletary only 22 yards rushing. To lead
Yeah,
the team.
yeah.
That's never a good sign. Did have 5 catches for 48 yards. Nico Collins had 5 catches for 68 yards. The Texans in total did have 3 sacks on Lamar Jackson. That's impressive. And 9 tackles for loss in this game. Their only touchdown, though, Mr. Sims, 67-yard punt return.
Yep, which was fucking great.
It was
but-
great. Right up the middle. It was almost like the Ravens just
Yep.
did not remember
Yeah.
that they were on a punt
Yeah.
coverage team.
Yeah.
And at the right time, too. Like, fueled them through that first half, fueled them into early in the third quarter,
Yep.
and then fell apart.
Yep, because then Lamar Jackson took over. He ended up with only 152 yards passing, but had 2 passing touchdowns. Also had 100 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. Justice Hill, 66 yards rushing. Gus Edwards, 40 yards rushing. Zay Flowers led them with receiving with 4 for 41, though Isaiah Likely had 2 catches for 34 yards and a touchdown. The surprising thing here was that they had 0 sacks of C.J. Stroud, and the Texans still couldn't really do much. That's not to say there wasn't pressures, don't get me wrong here.
Yep. Oh, we got hit a bunch.
He
but
did, but he got managed to get rid of the ball
And
every time.
For the Texans in this playoff game, protecting your quarterback, that's new territory.
Yes.
You know? Like, that is a good
Well, you don't want him to
stat,
get so
yeah.
many head hits that he becomes another serial sexual assaulter, you know? The last thing they need from another star quarterback that they've drafted in the first
No, but
round.
every one of their quarterbacks, like, I mean, Straub, like, every one of their quarterbacks just fucking
Matt Schaub?
pinatas,
Yeah, he
you
used to
know?
get beat
Oh,
the
my
fuck up,
God.
too. It'd be easy. I don't want to make light of the Texans season. They had a fantastic year.
had a
I
great
truly
season.
think that D'Amico Ryan
Yep.
should be up for Coach of the Year. But I don't want to sing so many praise about the Texans and not talk about the Ravens here. They did exactly what they were supposed to. John Harbaugh's team is always ready to play.
Yeah.
Second half adjustments, all of them fucking worked.
Yes.
Yep. Yep.
Every single one of them. Roquan Smith, as far as the defenders went, had the biggest game. He had 7 tackles, 2 for loss. They just did everything they had to
Yeah.
and managed to shut that team down without having to get any splash plays. It was a really, really
I mean,
impressive game.
Roquan alone, he had so many, like, they weren't tackles, they weren't sacks, but it was like, you had fucking 2 people on you, and you still got a jersey hand on someone.
Yeah.
I saw that like 3 times. Like, oh man, like you're still involved in the play, even though that never shows up on a stat line. You
Yeah.
know?
Absolutely, and he is a great linebacker. It was one of the things that hurt a lot when they traded him last year. I really thought he was going to be great for us, but he'll be great for the Ravens now.
Also, just last thing, the Ravens' special teams is always good.
And yet they give up a punt return touchdown.
I know, like it sounds counterintuitive to say it, but historically, like they've been solid.
Yeah. But that punt return, I mean, no one goes right up the middle and goes that fucking far.
Yeah, right?
That was impressive as hell. And you know that fucking kicker was just shitting himself like, God damn it, on the
Oh,
last line.
absolutely.
And he had the beat and just couldn't do it because he's a fucking kicker, you know?
It drives me absolutely crazy.
Oh, I love the support.
It drives me absolutely crazy. These kickers, you have the best facilities at your disposal. You've got nutritionists at your disposal.
Work out your arms a little bit.
Get your like practice some tackles. I understand. Like, don't get me wrong. It's not like kicking is this perfect science because we're gonna get to that for fucking sure in one of these next games, Green Bay. But
no
but
shit.
even still, like, this is something you can practice,
Yeah,
right?
but
when
it's
you look at the king of sports podcasting, who was known for his big hits,
Yeah,
and that led to some success for him.
Yeah?
Why wouldn't you use that as the prototype?
Why would you risk hurting your leg?
I don't think Pat McAfee could tackle Tyreek Hill in the open field. Like I hear
but-
kind of what you're saying.
But he'd have a good shot, though, you know?
Okay. All right, I hear you in terms of being able to catch someone open field, but there's plenty of times that it's not full open field, and the kickers that just sometimes you're like, man, this is you're really soft.
Well, like that
out
one,
here.
like the kicker was right there. He couldn't have
Yeah.
gone any way around you. It was right there.
yeah.
Some basic
But-
tackling
Hey,
practice.
before Matt
yeah.
moves it along, I'm assuming you guys seen Sean Taylor kill a punter in the Pro Bowl.
Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I have to say. I'm
Oh,
not
yeah.
sure
One of
Matt
the
wants to
greatest
get
hits
to
of
the
all
next game.
time in a
Yeah.
game that didn't
It
matter.
doesn't matter.
What I do want to say, Texas. I've been real high on them all year, riding that bandwagon. I really think that Singletary's been quality for them. They need to find themselves the next running back up. If Singletary's still there, he'd be a great running back too.
We thought it was Damian Pierce and fucking nothing.
Fell off a cliff this
Nothing.
year.
Right.
Yeah.
But a good running back to round out. Obviously with Tank Dell.
Yeah, when he comes back
coming
from
back,
the leg injury.
and
Yep.
Noah Brown can become your wide receiver 3.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You already have Dalton Schultz out there as your tight end.
Yeah.
Yeah, add a little bit of a running game, and it's
Little
gonna
bit
be
of a running game.
scary.
They could be
Maybe
scary next year.
Shore
yeah.
up your own line a little bit.
Yep.
I'd love to see them be just an offensive threat nonstop.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
I mean, within that division, they could possibly dominate it for the foreseeable
Yep,
future.
yep.
Like
Absolutely.
almost everyone, like I think it was like a third of their starters are either in their rookie or
Mm-hmm.
sophomore year. Like a third. That's fucking insane. So I mean, if D'Amico Ryans does not win Coach of the Year, what the hell? You know?
True.
I agree.
Right.
Did a wonderful job he's done this year. The second game, last night's game, the Packers traveled to San Francisco.
That was such a nail
Take
biter.
on their nemesis right now because the 49ers, this is the fourth straight game that they've played against the Packers in the playoffs where they won. They did win 24-21. The Packers led for a good portion of this.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy had 252 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. Christian McCaffrey, 98 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, 7 catches for 30 yards. Kittle had 4 catches for 81 yards and a touchdown. Juwan Jennings, 5 catches for 61 yards. Deebo Samuel had 2 catches for 24, hurt his shoulder, didn't come back in. The biggest thing for the 49ers as far as what had real big effects on the game was Dre Greenlaw. 8 tackles, 2 interceptions. One of them, it bounced off a receiver's hands. I'm not going to blame that on
But
Love.
he caught it. He caught it.
He did. And the last interception was just you cannot throw that
Yeah. No.
into triple coverage, and you short-armed it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it was, I saw a meme about it, and I'm not trying to make a lot of fun of the Packers here. I'm obviously not a Packers fan, but the meme was that Jordan Love is exactly what the Packers had before. Aaron Rodgers can't beat the 49ers, and Brett Favre threw game-ending interceptions all the time.
Yeah.
It's a funny meme, and it's sad that it worked out that way in this game. Jordan Love had a good season, though.
And Jordan Love had.
I don't know if he's a Hall of Famer. They got another good quarterback for the
way
next
too
2
early.
years.
It's way
Yeah.
early,
But,
right.
yeah, it's too way too early to make that. But they at least
for his first real year.
they have a quality
on,
starter
yeah.
at quarterback.
Yeah.
Oh, I
They
think
do.
I think you're underplaying it a little bit. I think that this season for Green Bay was not what anyone expected
No.
at all, and for them to beat Dallas and be the first.
Not just beat them.
Not yet.
Oh,
I know y'all talked about it last week.
humiliate Dallas.
That score looks close at the end when you see
No,
it.
That was
yeah,
my
no.
favorite game last week.
Yeah,
That was an
Oh.
ass. When I sat down and finally got to watch that game, because we've been doing a lot of shit in Oregon that day, it was already like 30 to like 10. Like
Yeah.
it was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
what the fuck is going on
Right.
here?
So
it
they,
was 27-0 before halftime.
yeah,
Yeah.
they humiliated Dallas, and then
At home.
and then
Yep.
basically lost the game themselves against San Francisco. It was their game to lose.
was.
I mean, this is a team that you, as a Bears fan, should be like, this is bullshit. Here's Detroit looking real nice.
Yep.
Green Bay's supposed to be rebuilding. And here's
And
Green
looking
Bay
real
looking like, I'm
nice.
sorry, like you're who?
And I was
you're
sitting there
fucked,
like, my
man.
team got 4 more wins than they did last year this year. They got up to 7, which isn't great, but they had a chance for the playoffs at the end. But to see the fucking Packers still be there, it is so annoying.
Yeah.
They finished the season
But they
playing
draft
incredible.
and they develop players very well. Their wide receivers, I don't think they had more than one that had 4 years of experience.
All right, listen, Dobbs.
All of them are first and second year
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah. Dobbs showed
Dobbs
up.
is really turning
Yeah.
into someone special.
All right, so just
Aaron,
real
yeah,
fast.
sorry, yeah.
For their stats, Jordan Love had 194 yards, 2 touchdowns, did have the 2 interceptions I mentioned. The biggest thing here is, to me, Aaron Jones, 19 for 108, but they kind of went away from the run once they had
First
the
half,
lead,
he was
which
fucking
makes no
amazing.
fucking sense.
Yeah.
Romeo Dobbs, 4 for 83. Jaden Reed, 4 for 35. There was only 1 sack by the Packers in this. They did get 6 quarterback hits. The biggest thing, though, was Carlson, the kicker, did miss a field goal, and at 24-21,
Oh,
It's almost like
You
you,
can't-
should pay gears.
it's not his fault they lost, but that missed field goal hurt.
it was like a 41, 42
Yeah,
yard.
very makeable.
very makeable.
If it's a 65-yarder, I'm not going to get angry at the kicker.
That's a
you know.
that was a that momentum shift.
But to be
Oh.
fair, in the first half, they had one tipped that might have gone.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, like if the line would have held stronger and he would have made that field goal, you might
Yeah.
not have needed him
No,
to make the one at the
and
end.
this all
you know?
worries me about my Bears too, because like the NFC North. Okay, so next year the Lions aren't going to take a big downward turn. The Packers are on their way back
Yep.
to where they've always been.
If Baker goes to the Vikings,
If the Vikings actually get good quarterback play and improve their defense, which is what they actually need to be drafting, they have all the offensive weapons they
Yeah.
had. And the Bears are improving.
if your team finally puts together like a 9-win season
Yeah,
and you
well,
still
well,
can't
We're
get
going to
the
be in that
playoffs-
fucking division. whereas-
Welcome to purgatory, and Aaron Rodgers fucking
You know what?
coming
I got
over.
it. I got a
Yeah.
suggestion. The Bears are talking about building a new stadium, right? Maybe they need to build it where they can join one of the Southern conferences.
Now, the NFL will never break up those old,
The
those old rivalries.
Chattanooga Bears sounds great. Sounds great.
But
the Chittenango Bears.
I know it's very disappointing for the Packers fans that they lost, and
Idaho
especially to
needs a
lose to the
team.
Packers again, or lose to the 49ers again. But in the end, like, I think it's a season they can be kind of proud of. Like, no one expected them to make the playoffs. And
Sir, we're talking about playoff football, not
Yeah.
the Bears.
well, I'm just saying, like, you have a quarterback, first year as a starter, you still managed to beat one of the top, I'm going to say this in quotation marks, top teams in the NFC. Honestly,
Which they did.
Who did the
Yeah,
Cowboys
yeah.
beat, though?
I think they had 2 wins of teams over 500,
Yeah.
and one of them was Miami.
No, Miami beat them.
They beat the
Oh, that's
Eagles.
That's right. Okay,
Oh,
yeah,
Eagles,
yeah,
okay.
right.
And the
right,
Eagles
right.
were paper tigers, too, by the end of the
Oh,
season.
yeah.
Yeah.
So was the NFC East not as strong as we think, and they just got to have a nice weak schedule to play against? Like, what was the deal there? I don't know.
Oh, listen, NFC East was very clearly not the conference that
Not
they were
strong,
last
yeah.
year. So, yeah.
It'll be interesting moving forward.
Also, just real quick, I don't know if Matt already said it in the stats. Brandon Ayuk had 3 catches for 32 yards, which isn't like that impressive, but 2 of them were on huge third and long
Yeah,
conversions.
yep.
That was awesome.
Well, and the Niners, like, they did a great job of really spreading around the passes.
Yes.
And they've done that for most of the season,
mean,
but it was so good.
Listen, the thing
Yeah.
is, though, like, you don't have to have one guy with 150 when you've got Kittle, Jawan Johnson,
Yep.
Debo, Brandon Ayuk,
Yep.
Christian McCaffrey.
Yep.
All right, they can all have like 70 yards receiving.
Yeah, also, Christian
you know?
McCaffrey had like a very pedestrian 55-yard touchdown run as well. Where he was
Right?
like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, he's fucking
Like,
awesome.
Because
too.
that fucking hole the line opened up for him. He's like, oh, I got touched by
I
one
made a
fucking
linebacker miss
person.
and I'm gone.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Although I saw a video of his girl, and she took
Yeah,
a video
he
of him like from the like he had a shirt off, so like the back of his arm
Oh, I
and,
thought,
his
I thought you were talking about her OnlyFans. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
continue.
Like it was the back
Whoa,
of his
sir.
his arm and like some of his back, whatever.
I
Show
don't
like
know
the
what that
bruising and like the cuts, and then she goes over like, and she's like, this is like the problem with white sheets, and like there's spots of blood, and she's like, I have to wash and change sheets regularly after his games, just because like he's that beat up and scraped, and I'm sure that's not just him, but it's like. Yeah, he's good, but he's in there to tussle.
Yeah.
That's why he's one of the
Yeah.
best, man.
Absolutely.
Like, I was surprised the way that Green Bay had San Francisco under their thumb. I was surprised that Green Bay was able to do that and maintain that after such a big win over Dallas. Like
To carry that momentum in was
carry
very
that
impressive. You almost always have a little bit of like a downward turn,
Yeah.
like they're
Which
because
you
they
can't
were
afford to do in
because
the
they were
playoffs,
so
yeah.
amped up
Right.
and ready, and especially with a younger team. Because the Packers, I think, might be the youngest team in the NFL.
I think so. Yeah.
So to keep them ready and prepared to play, very impressive. Because like,
Yeah.
I'll get into Mike McCarthy. I'll just discuss that. I'll continue on that note in a minute. Let's talk about the other game from today. The only other game we have to go over so far, because as I said, the Bills are about to kick off. The Bucks travel to Detroit to take on the Lions. Lions pull out their third playoff victory since 1957.
but the weather.
Yes. And if you
That
didn't
was
see
so
this
fun,
week,
though.
a reporter asked Todd Bowles how his team would deal with the weather in Detroit, and he had to inform them they play in a dome. That was weird.
We all would have been
and-
dumb
no,
enough to
but
answer,
again-
ask that question, though.
But again, Todd Bowles, to his credit, not a dick about it.
No, he was a nice
He was
guy
like
about
waiting for her to like say like turn it into a decent question. He was like, "Nope, you're going there."
I feel like she got set up, that reporter, because
Yeah.
like someone was like, "Hey, did you see the weather in Detroit?" And she was like, "Oh," and looked it up, and I'm like, "Oh, the conditions don't look very good." Like that's, maybe she just forgot or whatever. But like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
She,
feel
it
like
feels like
that's
she
the
got set
equivalence
up.
of me, like, in the press pool going, I don't know what to ask, and then Matt leans over and says, ask Todd Bowles this, and I go,
Oh, yeah.
thanks.
Yeah,
and
it could
then
be,
just-
yeah. And like
And that is something I would do to you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
the thing that I hate about that interview was like it was a woman, and there's plenty of men that
You
ask
made it?
dumbass fucking
Well, I remember
questions too.
a couple
you
years
know?
ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, Stephen A. Smith was asked a question about I think it was about the Chargers in a playoff game. And he was like, everyone's forgetting about Hunter Henry. It's like, no, they haven't,
Yeah.
sir. He was knocked out for the season like 5 weeks ago. That's why no one's talking about Hunter
They didn't
Henry.
forget about him. He's not gonna fucking
Right.
play.
Yeah. So, to just because it was a woman,
But
no,
Stephen A.
it's
Smith
not
get
why
away
I'm
with
bringing
that
this
shit.
up.
You know?
But also with, I mean, it's also this time of year where teams are getting knocked out, and then you go to those goddamn pressers, and here's this coach like, I got to get through the presser. It's contractual. I want to get back to my team. Like right now, that is so much more important. And inevitably, what's coming up? Hey, let's talk about next season. Let's talk about contracts. When Mike Tomlin stood up
whoa,
and just
whoa,
walked
whoa.
away,
Yeah.
they asked him about his contract, and he just like gone.
Yeah.
Like, and he came back the following day. He had a smile on his face. He was pleasant and like, let's address this. But it's like, there's a fucking time and a place.
Yeah.
Like, that's such a shitty thing to do, and especially in those rooms because it's the same people asking questions.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
the same.
Week
You know
after week.
every one of those
Yeah.
reporters by name, okay? You've probably had drinks with them. And you're there and you're just setting them up for a fucking soundbite.
And it is the last time that
God.
team will be together because there's like a 20% or so turnover rate
Oh, at the end of a season.
on
yeah.
the NFL
Yeah.
players
right.
every season. So you know
Like,
that team will never
especially
be
in a loss,
the
you wanna be with
same
your
group
guys.
again.
Yeah.
Yes. Because these are professionals. They put a lot into this, and they deserve to have their coach there to
Yeah.
talk to them after they
And
lost.
Pittsburgh, which was an ugly season and made the playoffs.
Yeah.
And you're going to hit Tomlin with a, hey, let's talk about your contract.
Yeah.
After you just fucking lost.
Yep.
Oh,
Like take a fucking beat. Let
bad,
me breathe a
bad
little bit.
form.
Like,
Bad
yeah.
form,
Yep.
yeah.
So the Bucks did travel to Detroit today. They lost 31-23. Baker Mayfield had 349 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, but 2 very costly interceptions. Rashad White, 55 yards rushing, 4 catches, 36 yards, and a touchdown. Mike Evans, 8 catches for 147 yards and a touchdown. Cade Otton, 5 catches for 65 yards and a touchdown. Chris Godwin, 4 catches for 40 yards. The Bucks defense did get 2 sacks, but they dropped 2 interceptions they could have been, and one of them was in an end,
Right
the end
in
zone,
the hands.
and that would have
Ah.
been really big differential for the scores.
Yep.
Jared Goff did have 287 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. Jameer Gibbs, 74 yards rushing and a touchdown. David Montgomery, hate to see him on another team. Glad to see him getting some success, though. 33 yards rushing. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 8 catches for 77 yards and a touchdown. Sam Laporta, the rookie sensation, 9 catches, 65 yards, and the Detroit defense got 4 sacks and 8 quarterback hits on top of that.
Hutchinson is a monster
He's a
out
beast.
there.
He's a beast.
Oh, you're a Syracuse boy. Mufasa. Mufaletta.
A sandwich?
He's got a weird
The
first
Mufasa
and last
Muffaletta
name.
sandwich?
Early on. Nice fucking sack.
Yep.
And Hutchinson was right there, and he was hoping to get the combo. Nope. But he was still like, you got that one, you know? It's fucking nice to see. you know?
Nice.
For the Bucks fans, this is more than they should have expected at all. The fact that they managed to beat the Eagles last week was outstanding. Baker Mayfield
The
had
fact they weren't garbage this year is amazing.
Baker Mayfield
yeah.
signed a 1-year contract, bet on himself. He won that bet. He's
Yes,
going to
he
be
did.
signing for a much larger contract now. Real fast, let's talk about the Bucks first. This was a great season for them. We don't know if Mike Evans will be back with them. I guess they could franchise tag him. He is going to be a free agent, I believe, at the end of the season if they don't. 10 years in the league.
Tell you what, franchise tag is gonna be pricey because wide receivers get paid.
Yes. Oh, it'll be like a 1-year, like $20 or $25 million
Because
contract.
franchise
probably.
tag is the average of the
Average
top
of the
10?
top 5.
Yeah.
Five, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he's
so
going to
Tariq
get
Hill's
paid.
going to fuck up those numbers for every owner.
Yep. Because that cap hit's about to get bigger with him this
Yeah.
year. But I don't want to take anything away from them because Todd Bowles really coached that team up well this year. Their offensive coordinator was brand new. He did well. Mayfield, like I said, stepped in and played really good.
Yeah.
Mayfield, fun little stat about Mayfield. He is the 3rd quarterback of all time to have a 3 touchdown, 0 interception playoff win. Obviously not today's. Last week's playoff win with multiple franchises. So, and by multiple, two different franchises. So he is in the rarefied air of Tom Brady and Brett Favre.
That's pretty amazing.
What I find
Baker Mayfield.
What I find more amazing is that a good quarterback doesn't move. Right? Like,
Yeah, they don't get released. They don't get to go sign with another team.
right. That is such rarefied air that literally just I understand like there's other playoff wins, but like a 3 touchdown, 0 interception.
That's big.
That's right. That's still a huge game, but still like I'm surprised that there's now 3.
Yeah.
That the 2 before that are clear in a way
Yeah.
elite quarterbacks.
I mean, you have, Hall of Famers.
Right.
And then Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, right. It is good to see a good guy in there with holding up against, one average whatever guy and one piece of shit, so
Yeah, that's true.
allegedly.
Allegedly. Yep.
That's fair. All right, so that is all of the games that have occurred up to this point. KC Buffalo just kicked off. We'll see what happens there. I want to talk real fast before we get into NFL. Some coaching moves that happened this week.
Oh,
Number
yeah.
one, both Bill Belichick and Jim Harbaugh have interviewed with Atlanta twice. Now, Belichick known for being a defensive coordinator. Jim Harbaugh, I would say he's probably considered more of an offensive coach. I from Atlanta's point of view, now obviously they need a quarterback. But with those
Atlanta needs a
offensive
lot.
weapons, their defense is actually pretty good. They do need help. Quarterback, I think, is their biggest issue. I could be wrong, but I think so. And I'm not saying Bill Belichick wouldn't be a benefit to that team. I'm not wondering if Jim Harbaugh wouldn't be the better signing for them, though.
You need an offensive coordinator mind.
At what
Yeah.
at what point in your career do you stop being referred to as defensive minded because you came up through the defense side of coaching?
I'm going to say never.
Right?
Like, they will never
because
let that go. Yeah.
Bill Belichick.
I'll tell you
Now,
why Bill Belichick doesn't get
What?
to be called an offensive or just a head coach. And it's because last year he put 2 coaches, 1 defensive coordinator, 1 special teams coordinator, as his offensive coordinator. And that will forever lock him into being defensive minded.
All right, but for the span of his entire career, for as long as he was out there, right? But somehow everyone says that's what he is. Now, granted,
Yeah.
when you watch the way he schemes against other teams, you scheme against other teams, both offense and defense. They find ways to win.
Yeah.
It does seem like he has the ability to pick apart a team. He's had the ability to pick apart teams through defense. I understand that part of it, but at some point,
is it only easy because you just trust Tom Brady to do everything?
But after
offensively,
decades, can we stop saying that he's a defensive-minded coach because he's also run a team more successfully than most.
Yep.
Okay. Would you say Steve Walsh was an offensive style coach?
I'm not.
Yes,
listen, I'm not.
offensive.
This is not. This is not a
Yeah.
hill I'm that I want to die on by any means.
But they do seem to get these labels
But
that
it's
never
right,
go
but,
away.
right, and
Yeah.
it's never ever gonna go
I
away.
think kind of for good reason. I mean, Mike Tomlin, I would never describe as an offensive type of coach. He's a defensive coach.
I think any Steelers coach for fucking ever will be a defensive.
Well, there's only
minded coach.
3 in our lifetime,
Yeah.
so.
But even, I mean,
you're
going
right.
back to like before our lifetimes, like, you know, Steelers, they win on defense. They win.
They do.
Like, I mean, Roethlisberger was garbage quarterback. You know, what on defense?
I wouldn't say
I
it was
wouldn't
a
say it was
garbage
garbage.
quarterback. It was.
He's got Hall of Fame
No, no.
numbers. He's just
in
not
terms
a Hall
of
he's
Super
just-
Bowl winner, Hall of Famers, he's a garbage quarterback. I know that's a fucking weird thing. It's a weird way to put it.
But he's a
but-
garbage person.
No,
well, and that does
allegedly.
tint things a little
Oh,
bit.
no. He was guilty.
That one was guilty. Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, all right, fair
Only
enough.
a
Right,
civil trial, but yeah.
yeah. Fair enough. All right.
He paid money.
Okay.
Okay. 2 other things I'd like to touch on real fast. Mike McCarthy kept his job.
We just talk about Roethlisberger now. You want to touch on things? Fucking
Yep.
Matt. God damn it.
So Mike McCarthy got brought back. They're not talking extensions, just coming back for his next contract year.
Yeah, like not getting terminated. Yeah.
But one of the things he said was that it wasn't the offense or the defense so much. It's just so much that the players weren't ready to play. Well,
But
I don't care what type of coach you are. Isn't that your job? You're the head coach.
that is 100% your job. That is what you do more than anything else. Okay? When we sit here on the hype train that is Vrabel, that is Dan Campbell, and right, and you're like, man, like this is what we like about those guys.
You manage
They're
the
ready
players.
to play.
Yep,
Tomlin, we're on Tomlin's tip all the time. He gets those guys ready to play, and it seems like he's got one of the more divisive locker rooms.
Smart fucking player.
Every other year. But they're out there ready to play.
Because he's always got a wide receiver that's losing their fucking mind.
Right.
But also, Jerry Jones just wants a yes man as his head coach.
But, okay,
like
but
he would never relinquish actual
Yeah.
control to a guy like Vrabel
no,
or
but
Belichick or
never.
yeah,
But you know
or
what?
Tomlin.
Is Jerry Jones in the locker room telling those guys to get ready to play? Is he getting them hyped up? No,
Oh, no.
he's not. No, he's not.
This is not me like disagreeing with anything he's saying. Just like Jerry Jones cares more about being
Jerry
the face of
Jones.
the Cowboys than them actually winning a Super Bowl.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And his bottom line's never hurt at the end of the season.
I mean, he couldn't kowtow for one season to fucking Jimmy to get another ring.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I agree. I just found that amazing though. Like, well, it's all about having the players ready to play. Like, that's you.
That is you. That is 100%
You're
you.
literally blaming
Yeah.
yourself, but
Yeah.
not saying it's my fault.
I was having a conversation in a similar vein with an Uber driver after the Syracuse basketball game, talking about how happy we are with this new head coach and how Boeheim gave us a lot of years.
Oh, that's such a
But
Bills
near
thing
the
to do.
end, it really felt like he wasn't a player's coach. It became very obvious he wasn't a player's coach. And then bringing in
This is my system. You
this
will
is his
play
son,
in
bringing
my
his sons
system.
in,
Yeah.
But and now you have like guys out there
Elbows
like
down.
very clearly
Nice,
ready to play
nice.
for the coach,
Yep.
So there's something to be said about that.
Yep.
You have to be a player's coach if you like. These
For
kids
sure.
nowadays are out there coming in with $100,000, $1 million NIL deals.
yeah.
You think you can just be hands off with these kids?
You got players
Oh.
making more money than you.
I-
Like,
I'm
they're not
not
going to
gonna-
fucking listen,
Yeah.
you know?
But we talked about this too. They needed to move on, but it's how do you fire Jim Boeheim when that's been a pillar of your institution since the 70s?
Because you got to fucking win.
I know. We all agree he
Okay,
needed
is
to
this
go.
getting away from
That's
the
a, right,
conversation?
that's a totally
I'm
separate
talking about
conversation.
Mike
Yeah, right,
McCarthy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's
Now-
where it started, yeah.
He's got 3 12-win seasons with the Cowboys in a row. He had 14 seasons in Green Bay, where he had,
yeah.
I want to say, 3 with Brett Favre and 11 with Aaron Rodgers. And he does have a Super
I was
Bowl
like,
win.
did get a ring.
But you had 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks and an all-pro quarterback in Dallas. And I realize it's a fucking team sport, but how many coaches get to say they've had that low of quarterbacks and they won Super Bowl?
Anyone that's ever coached for Green Bay.
Well, that's a good point.
I mean, besides the classic,
Yeah.
you know?
And-
That's a good point. That's a good point. I'll definitely accept that.
Also, this is not me trying to stand up for Dallas or stand up for Green
Fucking
Bay
better
or any
not.
of those things.
It's a team sport.
It
And
also,
you never know who you're playing against.
right. But
always
when
know
you
you're playing
when you end
Well,
up when you end up
You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
when your franchise is like that and you
That was a
have
very
this
Chris Collinsworth thing. I had to point that out.
you have this really high level. Sometimes it's hard to maintain that nonstop level for so long, and the cap space is good and all right. There's money. Just we want to spend money on taxes. We'll fine. We'll do that. But it seems like you never keep that edge of being hungry enough, right?
Not unless
You've-
you're Brady and
I don't
fucking
get that
Belichick.
though. Like,
Brady and Belichick
Oh,
were
God.
were the they're definitely the example that ruins my point. But there's plenty of them out there that it's like this is really tough. Like look at Kansas City. Yeah. All right, here they're in the playoffs again. But like
2
they're-
Super Bowls.
but overall, they had a garbage season.
They're
you know?
struggling out there. They're trying to navigate like these
They
monster
still won the West,
contracts.
though, didn't they?
Yep.
Hey.
Oh yeah.
Indianapolis had a prime Peyton
Barely.
Manning for 14
Barely.
fucking years and only got 1 ring.
Well, that's because they had to play against
Yeah,
Tom Brady.
I know, but it's
Yeah.
really fucking hard.
Again,
Right.
you don't know who you're going to be playing against.
Yeah.
And
So,
that's
all
why
right.
I said that.
So are
because
we-
you just
so
don't
we
know
saying
who
that
you're up against.
Mike McCarthy, well, outside of the comment about him saying that, they weren't ready to play, which is your fucking job.
Which is a dumb
But
comment,
honestly, like,
yeah.
you can't tell me that he isn't a good coach.
No, I think he's a good coach.
Yeah.
I just don't like the man.
So who are you? You're fine. I'm okay with that, too. Look, who are you going to find better?
I like any man that can put up with Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
And if he can put up with Jerry Jones and keep pumping out winning seasons,
Boy, I'll tell you what, Carolina should trade a first-round pick for Mike McCarthy. If he can deal with bad owners that well.
Yeah. Jeez.
that'd be funny as shit if he went to fucking Carolina.
All right,
and
one
won a
other
division.
Oh, that'd be hilarious. One other coaching move I want to talk about because I like it, and this is a defensive-minded head coach. I know we had that discussion, but
Just a dick.
Antonio Pierce.
Yeah.
The Raiders are bringing him back.
Really?
He'll be their head coach. They finalized
Ooh.
the contract this
Yeah.
week.
Good for him.
And he's a player coach.
Yes.
He's a player
He
coach.
fits more in the
I like
players
that.
coach style,
Yeah.
I
And
guess. is
now
probably the
Mark
better way.
Davis is only paying 3 coaches next season.
Yeah, he still owes Jay Gruden and fucking McDaniels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Jesus.
hate the move as a Broncos fan, but as a football fan, that is the right move. That
And
is
the
right
players
move,
said
yeah.
he's our guy. He's our guy.
Yep.
When he got tapped for the interim title, they
loved him.
They
They
were
loved
like,
him.
"Yep,
Yep.
he's our guy."
Yep.
I love that they listen to the players.
God damn it.
Well, I have that question for you then, because this starts to become a thing in a lot of different facets of NFL teams, especially this offseason. How much do you think management should listen to the players on decisions they make? Because it is a business in the end, and they should be willing to play for whoever or whatever players are with them because they're getting paid. But how important is it, do you think, to make sure the locker room believes that you will stand by the players and the coaches that do well?
You need players that have played at least 3 seasons in the NFL. At least.
To be making those voices.
To make those voices.
Also depends
you
on
know?
the organization. 10 years ago, the Patriots could have said, fuck off, we're the Patriots, and if you don't like it, there's the gut door.
It's true, but they had enough wins under their belt.
That's what depends
If
on
they
the
could have,
organization.
yeah.
Also, they were playing in the weakest division in football. Like, they were guaranteed 6 wins at the start of the season.
I mean, I know where you're going with that, but it's true.
No, it
Yeah,
is. And I'm not trying to make fun of the Bills or the Jets or the Dolphins. They were justifiably fucking terrible for at least 10 years
Yeah.
of Brady's career.
Yeah.
So,
oh, yeah.
I don't think there's an easy answer for what you're asking because, you can look at a player coach and be like, Jeff Saturday, like, let's bring him in. This is going to make a lot of
I'm
sense.
a leader of men.
Yeah, sure.
And they loved him as a person.
They loved him as a person.
Not a great coach.
So
Yeah.
there is like whatever they were doing in Indianapolis. I don't fucking know.
Hey,
that decision was so weird.
True or not, I listened to an interview with Jeff Saturday where he knew going into that he was not going to be coach.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Ursay was like, just you're a known face.
Get
come
me
help
through
us
this season.
Come help us limp to the finish line. So it was never like, oh, I want this coaching job.
Yeah.
It was just like, I love the organization.
But
I'll come
right.
back.
So
But
ultimately
someone-
it's you have to have someone who, if you can find that person who is the energy guy, the players coach, but you have to be at a point that you need a players coach. Because you're rallying from
And
the
you
bottom
have to
up.
have
The
good
reason
coaching
the reason I am
history.
actually asking this is because of my Bears, because they decided to keep Matt Eberflus.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
The
a little
players
surprised with
really
that.
liked him, really liked playing for him. He did get the defense turned around. Mm-hmm. But I'm still a little shocked.
I like that they let him at least get another year. Like, they've got some
For
good
the
draft
third
picks
year?
coming up.
Yep.
You know? It's like,
But here's the thing. We drafted Justin Fields and Matt Nagy's last year. Now we might be getting rid of Justin Fields for Caleb Williams, and if we don't do well next year,
Fucking
it'll be
better
for
not.
another new head coach. This is where some of these choices
I
get
said
a little
it every
weird.
week, Caleb is going to be a fucking bust.
You have said that since
Chicago,
this first
do
came
not
out.
fucking draft him.
I think there's so much capital out there to trade down There's so
That's
much.
what they should
Even it's
do.
such a,
That's
it's such a
what they
good-looking
should
draft
do.
this year.
Even if
Yeah.
it was just to trade to the third pick, give the commies the first pick, and
You'd
then
still
take
have all
Marvin
the-
Harrison, and then you could draft a defensive player, an offensive
I
lineman.
was going to say,
at
the
ninth
Bears would
pick.
still have all the picks in the draft.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
and they'd have even more moving forward. Yeah, all right, so
Yeah.
sorry, kind of got off on a tangent.
No.
One other question I have, because I saw a thing about it this week, and I was fascinated by the thought process. I saw a thing asking if Micah Parsons isn't being misused, because when he came into the league, he still did pass rushing, but he was a complete linebacker, dropped into coverage, didn't just rush pass all the time. By having him just as a sheer pass rusher, you now have an undersized defensive lineman, basically,
Yeah.
trying to take on the run and get big sacks. Now, he's producing sacks, but they're not as meaningful or at the proper
He's not like the
time.
elite level sack leader.
No.
Yeah. He should be a free safety.
Oh, I don't think he should be a free safety. I think he
think
should
so.
be an outside linebacker that is allowed to drop into coverage and play as a linebacker.
So only single coverage or rush
Well,
the
it could be
pass.
zone coverage. It could be all kinds of stuff. But I think that it would be beneficial to him if he was in a 3-4 as the outside linebacker more often than almost always having a hand in the dirt and trying to get a field.
So
Because
there's
his speed is like what makes him good.
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
but Cowboys love when they have a player that is sexy at what they do, right?
They do.
They really
sells
want
tickets.
exactly, and pass rush is sexy.
It's true.
It is, absolutely. Like, in terms of defensive players, that is the number one defensive player spot.
Well, yeah, all
that
the defensive
sells
player of the
fucking
year
tickets.
candidates are pass rushers.
Oh, always.
DJ
Yeah.
Watt's probably going to win it. I think he had 19 sacks, even missing games. Myles Garrett was up there in the teens, and then Micah Parsons are like the top three for
Yeah.
defense player of the year.
Yeah.
It's all sacks. I don't
It's- Like Scott said, it's sexy.
Right,
I
right.
just thought it was a really interesting thought process to look at it and be like, are they misusing this man?
It's a
I
it's
think
a
so.
it's a good choice. A good point for sure. Corners. I think getting stats on corners are really difficult because it's hard to tell if that was a one-on-one coverage or like
Well, how many times the ball wasn't thrown your way because you were such good coverage?
yeah, exactly.
Well, and
right.
There's not a stat for that.
Well, there
Yeah.
is. They track how many yards you
But
give up.
it's not.
Like
It's,
Jalen Johnson this year for the Bears. He's second team All Pro. I think he gave up 197 yards passing
For the
over
who?
the season.
I was like, why'd you
For the
pick that
Bears.
team?
Because I know this stat because I actually pay attention to this team a lot more. But the rookie starting off instead of him give up like 800 yards passing. Well, yeah. You got that guy. That's a real good shutdown
Yeah.
quarter.
Yeah.
So you're going to hit these guys up.
Yep, yep.
So you can look at it like,
Right.
for example, Sauce this week said, "Look at my stats. Compare them
Yep.
to
Yeah.
we,
Yeah.
to Revis.
Right.
We went over this.
Could
Yep.
you imagine being like a
Sir, we went over
serviceable,
this.
just like being a
Previously.
serviceable quarterback or cornerback, pretty good in the league, but then you're playing against opposite Revis for like 5 years in his prime,
right, yeah.
looking like a piece of shit,
well, but my
like you're pretty good on every other team.
But my point to that is when you try to look at a cornerback stats, it brings up questions. Like when we were talking about Sauce in his comparison to Revis. Eric even said, how many of those are single coverage, double coverage, like
Yeah.
you right?
Island.
Okay. I agree,
Yeah.
yes. However, so it's hard to figure out, but we all know like those good safeties, those good cornerbacks. We talk about how scary they are, but you can't look at those numbers and say 19 sacks.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way, which is
Yeah.
why that makes that a sexy position. So if Micah Parsons is getting pigeonholed into an edge rusher because you're going to get me those numbers,
Yeah.
and that's going to get me fans, that's that.
Yep.
That's that. Box view decision getting made, right?
Well, and that's the Jerry Jones thing, though.
Yeah.
is my bottom line. He says it's Super Bowls. His bottom line is raising the value of the Cowboys, and he's done a great job of it. I'm not talking shit about
Not
that
improving the team, raising the value of the Cowboys.
either. And he has what he
Yeah,
bought them for.
yeah.
They're worth like 20 times.
They
that
are the
now.
most valuable professional sports
They're-
franchise.
they're in our
past
mouth.
the
They're in our mouth
Yes,
all the
Because they're
fucking
global.
time.
So global.
They're,
Yeah.
they're
Well,
in
they're
our mouth all the
Norte
goddamn time.
Americanos team.
Well, not anymore, but
Well, you know what I'm saying.
you still sell that.
We should send Dallas to Mexico more often to play games.
Perhaps we should.
If we should.
All right. Those are the little extra points. Is there anything extra y'all want to talk about before we get into our next segment?
I do. It was about last week's games that Peacock.
I'm tired of that.
I,
I'm
so-
tired of them having
hold
special
on.
fucking
Let me
things on
get there.
subscription services.
Let me get there. So Peacock
Sorry.
went and bragged about the numbers of the Chiefs Dolphins game. That it was the highest live streamed event in U.S. history. Right? They had 23 million viewers. Do you know how many viewers the other game
The
had?
boys game, it was like 30
I'm
million.
gonna say 40.
40 million
More?
viewers
Yeah.
for Green Bay and Dallas.
Yeah.
So here you are bragging about winning a game that no one else is competing in, and more importantly, how many viewers you left on the fucking table.
Yeah.
This was Chiefs and Dolphins. This was hot shit, man. People wanted this. This was like
yeah, it was
Tyreek
hot.
coming back. Like, oh, the ball's gonna be just in the air for fucking 60 minutes of a 60-minute game. It's only
Well, if
gonna
it had been
touch
played
in the,
in good weather or in a dome, probably would have been.
Right, and then you add in, now you've got this extra, like, freezing cold temperatures. It's Chiefs. We got the little extra razzle dazzle going on with relationships of pop stars. This should have been a 45 million viewer game.
It should have
Should've
been.
been.
You left
Yep.
so much on the fucking table, and you're bragging about it. I understand that you're trying to push this, and you don't want to be a pay-per-view, but I'm sorry. I'm not buying another fucking
You
streaming
are
service.
a pay-per-view.
I'm gonna go somewhere else
another
and watch
streaming
it.
service that someone
Yeah.
has to pay for.
Yeah.
You're a pay-per-view.
But
Yeah.
it was basically pay-per-view because, like, how many millions of people subscribed to Peacock just to watch the game and then canceled it immediately
You mean their
afterwards?
free subscription?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You
right,
know?
right.
Yeah, I just don't like the NFL. You want to do that with some regular season games? I guess I'm okay with that because, like, Thursday night, Amazon. I guess I'm okay with that. But I have a very
But-
big problem with the playoff games being streamed on something that the average person may not be able to afford to have in their house.
I said that
don't
verbatim
like
to
it.
Scott last weekend at
And
the Legion.
Amazon-
like, word for word.
Amazon paid a fuck ton of money to have the rights to the Thursday
Yeah, that's a
game.
good
Yep.
stop.
And I do believe that DirecTV is carrying those streams also. I don't remember if that's true or not.
Oh, I don't know.
But even still, like, they're at least saying no. Like, yes, we're a streaming service. They're one of the biggest streaming services. And I think there was some other ways, like, to watch those games. Where Peacock, it's like, hey, after the game, keep this subscription and you can watch Young Sheldon. Like, who are you trying to push this to?
Yep.
It's fucking crooked and stupid.
To be fair, Major League
To be fair.
Major League Baseball started that. There were playoff games, postseason games, 2 years ago that you could not see if you were too close to the local market.
Wait, guys, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm
A
sorry.
blackout
I'm sorry.
postseason baseball
I have
game.
to ask a question.
What's baseball?
What's
Yes,
baseball?
what is baseball?
Okay, so I know we will not get off on this tangent, but as a fellow, as
Yes,
the
we
baseball
will.
fan in this room, like, the MLB is working to make themselves irrelevant. I don't know if
They-
you feel that way at
oh, they
times.
are.
Yeah. So
And they look at,
continue,
like-
Matt.
Okay,
Yeah.
both NFL, MLB, look at the NHL, look at NBA, and see why they're fucking
Like,
surging
MLB had their
motherfuckers.
Hall of Fame
Because they're not
party
making
thing.
people pay anything extra for fucking anything, you know? And
Yeah.
they're surging.
They
you
had
know?
some like Hall of Fame party thing this November on Saturday, and there was like college football plus an NFL game that day, and they're wondering why no one tuned in to see fucking pick a guy.
Yep,
like,
yep.
yeah.
One thing I want to touch on before we get into NFL, and it's from last week's NFL, and also just the worst.
Oh.
Is it about your oddly
as-
tiny feet?
It is not about my tiny feet that I somehow crushed
I thought it
into
was wide feet.
13 wides. It
Allegedly.
is.
13 wides, but child nines.
Yeah, it's weird.
So you have like cinder blocks for feet?
Indeed. I want to, as a Bulls fan, say you were absolutely right. When I read about the fans booing Jerry Krause's name at the introduction to their
Yeah.
Circle of Honor or Ring of Honor, what do you want to call it? I was disgusted by that.
Yeah.
As
That-
you should be.
I am a Bulls fan who I watched The Last Dance, and I know that's why people have that thought. Yeah, Jerry wanted to tear it down. Yes, of course the players are going to say all this. We don't know what his thoughts were. He could have given them had he been alive. But the man built that team. He made the trade to be able to draft Scottie Pippen.
Yep.
He drafted all these other players. He brought in Ron Harper and Dennis Rodman and all these other players as free agents. He built that team. He got
He
six
got you 6 fucking
fucking
rings.
championships. You don't get to boo a person that is dead whose widow is there to accept on his behalf to the point that you make her cry.
Why are you harboring all this hate?
Hatred over 6 championships.
Right.
We could have had 7. Motherfucker, we had 6 championships. Enjoy the fact that we had them.
Denver just got their first one last year.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 That's exactly right.
Right.
I was so disturbed. I'm glad you brought it up because it was one of the worst things. As a fan of a team, I've seen fans of the team I root for do.
So-
and I was embarrassed by it.
Giannis had there was a press conference. This is after their loss in the championship last year, and they were asking him about, like,
Fucking loved it.
yeah,
Loved
basically,
it.
like, it's like, what do you need to do? Like, how do you feel about this season? Blah, 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 whatever. And he was like, Michael Jordan was in the league for 15 years and won 6 championships. Were the other 9 years failures?
Nope.
And it's that mentality right there. That mentality that it's like,
Yep.
why was everything else an utter disappointment? You didn't win the very unique thing
Yep.
that is these championships.
It is a team sport.
It's so.
You could be the
yeah.
best player on the face of the planet. You're not going to win every fucking time.
Well,
you know?
and that's the thing, because, like, basketball, more than any of the other sports we watch, one player can have a...
It is the smallest team sport.
Yes,
Yeah,
it is
yeah.
only 5 players on the court at any one time. So the great
doubles
players can have... We're not talking
This is
about
true.
you in high school, sir.
And who could stop the fucking Williams sisters? You know.
But no, like, those top players can have a very large impact. Don't get me wrong. Tom Brady would have an impact on any team he went to.
Yeah.
But, like, the basketball's just different. And, again, it doesn't make those years failures. Like, some of those failures help build you into a championship team. Like, Jordan would never say he was glad to have lost to the Pistons.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
cannot tell me
Right.
that losing to the Pistons, because he even said it made him start lifting weights more,
Yep.
made him develop his fadeaway shot more. It made him broaden his game
Yeah.
and become a better player. And that's, even these teams that are losing right now, like if the Lions lose to the 49ers next week, it's not a failure of a season.
God,
No.
They have developed
No.
so
Yeah.
much, they're starting to get more and more belief in themselves. These are big things for teams to go through.
Yeah,
It's very important.
absolutely.
Anyway, that's my outlook. on
So
that.
yes, we
NFL.
definitely waded into the shallow end of what we call the NFL, things that happen outside of football. But let's get into the official segment. I want to start talking about women's college basketball and one Caitlin Clark.
Oh,
Yeah, okay,
yeah.
yes.
She's pretty good.
Yeah.
She is pretty good.
That girl good.
She recently became the 4th of all time points in women's NCAA
How many years
basketball.
has she been playing now?
2, 3, maybe.
I mean, it's like in the 3,500.
Yeah, but how many
points,
years has she
I don't
been?
remember if this
Well,
is
that's
her
what I'm saying.
senior year or not.
I
but
think
it's-
she's a junior.
she's
it's her
she's
second or
she's
third
fucking
year.
insane.
Jesus.
However,
Where'd
yes,
she play
let's
for?
Iowa.
Iowa. Yeah. So let's acknowledge that.
Team everyone expected.
No, not
Yes.
even a powerhouse. Like not
No.
the fucking Huskies or
yeah.
yeah.
Cedar
Baylor.
Rapids is a hub.
Or what is South Carolina?
So yeah, she just passed Brittany Griner for 4th all time, which is super impressive. However, that didn't stop one of the games afterwards. Ohio State played Iowa this past week, and Ohio State gets the win. Fans are storming onto the court as Caitlin Clark is trying to jog off. Doesn't a fucking fan just plow right into her and knock her to the ground, trying to run to that celebration?
Unacceptable.
And this is a God, what a tough thing this is, because that rushed the court, and I don't know if Iowa's
It's exciting as
I don't know
hell,
if
but-
Iowa versus Ohio State is a rivalry. I don't know if I didn't even look to see if Iowa's supposed to blow them out. Like, whatever the reason, rushing the court sometimes is necessary. Sometimes it feels like fucking you're a winner, act like a winner. But other times, storming the court is a fun thing, especially in college sports. What a great thing. But holy shit, she fucking smoked her.
Like to take out one of the fucking team members. Like come
One of the
on.
stars.
One of the stars of the opposing
Also,
team.
Man.
This is why we sometimes say it's no fun when coaches do this, but when coaches get their team off the court immediately
Yeah,
in
yeah,
situations
yeah.
like that.
So,
Oh, I don't blame him.
Yeah, that's what
all.
I'm saying. Like, we can be like, oh, what, they kids have fun, but then some shit like this happens.
Well, especially like a college game, like
Yeah.
any sport in college. Like
Right.
you've got like what
The
two
s-
security guys.
the student section coming at you.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're the most sober.
And
Yeah.
they were pre-gaming at like 7 in the morning. You know.
and I'll tell you what, the woman that ran into her could have been rugby team. You know,
Oh,
she was
okay.
she was,
Big
she
girl.
was definitely in the scrum. That's for sure. So.
At least softball
Yeah.
legs.
All right. I would like you to get your phones out real quick. I want you to do a quick little Google search.
Uh-oh.
And this is
Uh-oh.
about city courts we're jumping to the NBA here. The city court for New Orleans, and I want you to look up the Pelican Skeleton.
Do not.
It is fucking tight. Oh shit! This look is gonna be one of
I'm
the.
not gonna do it. I think you're trying to trick
No,
me.
I am. I am
Yes?
not. Yes, the
The new
Pelican
Pelicans
skeleton.
logo.
Oh, I like that.
Okay, this is.
That's
Black,
their
green
new
with a little bit
logo?
of red. That looks
Ooh,
tight.
all right, so
Also, you got the voodoo feeling of it down in New Orleans.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yes,
I like it. It
Right,
fits, yeah.
it's this is really nice, and
Because I always thought the Pelicans was a dumbass fucking
All right.
name.
Hold
So
on,
just so you
hold on,
know, I'm
hold
on a nature education website, so I'm glad Matt got to where to go. So, yeah.
oh, you literally looked
Do
up
you
the
need to see
skeleton
the
of a
picture,
pelican.
sir?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, okay, that is cool. Like,
There you go.
You're looking at a literal pelican skeleton.
and it's Canadian
Right,
too,
yeah.
spelled center with an ER.
So
R-R-E.
props where it's due. Instagram handle sidebar Joestar talks about the skeleton and how this
The
logo.
skeleton, that's
is this,
great.
This logo is so good, but as Nike is doing these city edition things,
Uh-oh.
what they're throwing so many things out there. So now you're gonna get this city the city court thing. You're gonna get the city jersey, and they're gonna do 2 other versions of it, and we're never gonna see it again. You're gonna watch a game, which is what it's been happening for the past years now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Unless who knows? Maybe the Pelicans are like they'll be smart and be like, let's bring this back.
Let's adopt this for real. Yeah.
But this whole thing that Nike's doing to push these different jerseys, there's been plenty that are trash. And when you hit on the one that really works, like the voodoo connection to New Orleans,
yeah.
this logo is so good. And it's going to be for a few games, and then we move on. Like the uniforms are going to be so great. I really wish we could slow down on some of those. When you really hit a home run, okay, go back to those. I think it'll
Yeah.
be really nice.
I think so too.
Because I think, obviously the Hornets,
Yeah.
no, you gotta fucking change that name. And then they did, the Pelicans? Really? Did you find the least offensive, the weakest
Yeah.
possible thing you could think of
Right,
that
right.
does exist in that city?
Right,
Come on,
right.
you know?
But that logo,
But
though,
make
is-
it look more badass, more
Yeah.
voodoo, exactly.
Right.
Fuck yeah.
So, LA Clippers, they have released the rules for what they're calling the wall, which is going to be basically behind the basket in the Intuit Dome section. 51 uninterrupted rows of fans. Like they're building this huge fan section behind one of the baskets, and they've released some rules for this. Cannot cheer for the opposing team. Cannot wear opponent's gear. Tickets can only be resold in a Clippers marketplace, and season tickets are going to range from $5 to $25K. There's so much I like about this. Like really recognizing that these seats are for fans only. Really put your effort into like this is going to be just, they're calling it the wall. Like this is going to be so incredible of a fan section.
Did you say Clippers?
Clippers, yeah.
Since they share a stadium with the Lakers, do you think?
They're building a new building a new stadium.
Okay,
yeah.
gotcha.
It's going to be the Intuit Dome. There, yeah.
Oh.
So, but what I'm really excited for are the fans that sneak in for the opposing team. I want this to
It's
be a
gonna
trend.
happen.
I want this to be like all of a sudden here's you're wearing neon green as you're cheering. You know what I mean? Like I am so excited for the ones that sneak in, 100%. Okay.
I kind of feel like if you have a good enough fan base, those rules are unnecessary.
I get it. You're right. But also, like, literally building it in, like, this section right here, we want it to be dominated by fans, and you're literally building the fan experience. Because, like, that's going to be the fun section, that's going to be the party section, like, and you're doing everything in your power to keep it that way. I like that a lot. I do.
Because like in the college football playoffs, like you had to buy the ticket through the university to make sure you're sitting on the right side.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
how they guaranteed equal sides.
Yep.
This
Yep.
this color for every
Yep.
fucking college bowl game. Mm-hmm. Every single one of them was like that. It was fucking great.
Yep.
Because you had to purchase it through the university.
Yep.
You know? And I like that. That doesn't exist outside of college sports.
True. Very
Like,
true.
So how
Yeah,
do
that's
you...
why how more Bills fans were at the Miami game.
Yeah,
or
like how
whatever,
do you buy
know,
a
like-
ticket through Ticketmaster? It's like, oh no, but I'm a Clippers fan.
Yeah.
You
So
know?
yeah. So all right. Let's talk a little bit about LeBron and how long he's been playing the game. When you factor in the entirety of NFL history, put your phone down. The entirety of NFL history.
NBA history.
Sorry, NBA history. How many players
I saw this.
has he competed
so
against?
I'm not gonna.
How many players?
What percent
what
of
percentage?
players?
Jesus.
What percentage of players of all-time NFL has
NBA.
he? NBA. Jeez.
Like,
All right.
19 years, right?
21, I think.
He's
His
like
first
21.
one.
But
Yeah.
there was less teams back in the day, which means he's played against a larger percentage than you would think.
I'm going to say 30% of all NBA players.
30%. Okay.
I'm going to go with 35.
35%. 35% is the
A lot.
correct number.
Is it really?
It is. 30. He's played against 35% of all NBA players in history. That's wild. Last thing for the NBA is
You fucking pranced in there.
Chet Holmgren is
Great
getting
name.
his he's the
Are they
seven.
considering this his rookie year?
They're considering his rookie year. Yeah. And to be honest, he's playing up to expectations, which is really nice. It's good to see these.
Considering he weighs like 100 pounds. Yeah.
Oh god, yeah. He and Wembanyama really are the guys that everyone expect him to be. But so he's getting his jersey retired at the Minnehaha Academy in Minnesota. So the almost entire
Is it
Oklahoma
Algonquin
City,
for the OK place?
probably yeah. The
Low-hanging fruit.
almost
Yeah,
entire team for the
How
Oklahoma
many
City
people
Thunder
actually
show up.
get Wayne's World fucking jokes. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so for his jersey retirement celebration, everyone but one player from the Oklahoma City Thunder showed up to this high school gym to cheer him on and support him getting his jersey retired.
Right. Who wasn't there?
His name is Josh Giddey, who's a talented basketball player. The past few years, Josh Giddey's been one of the better players on Oklahoma. Obviously, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is an absolute bucket. He's
Is
one of
there
the
a
best
good
guards
reason
out
why
there.
He wasn't there.
If you didn't hear the story about Josh Giddey and
Was
the
he in jail?
allegations that
I was
he
like, was he in jail?
He was chatting up a significantly underage girl, explains why he didn't go to the high school. Hey, Josh, maybe you set something up, bud.
The
What do you think about
restraining
that?
order. Like he can't
Can't be around
physically be.
kids.
Yeah. His anchor monitor would be beeping off the fucking chain. Yeah.
I love that
man.
the whole team goes except one. Maybe you sit this one out, bud.
Everybody has an assault at a minor. Get on the
Wow.
bus.
Yeah.
Not so fast.
All right.
Everybody get on here. You. Not you. Not you. You.
Oh,
no.
man.
We
So-
don't need that. We don't
so-
need Mark Chmura's here.
College football season is over.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And in the recent days of Nick Saban's retirement, 6 top recruits have already decommitted,
That's not shocking.
and there are 24 current players in the transfer portal.
It's not shocking.
Jesus.
But dude, this is what I'm talking about. Every major program is going to have like a dozen people in the transfer portal every season.
Right.
But Bama?
but
Holy
right,
But
shit.
we don't know how many of these are starters.
There's
How
oh my
many
god.
are backups,
No,
like-
first of all, the commitments are some pretty high speculative commitments, and some of the transfers are some pretty serious high level players.
Well, some of their top quarterbacks said nay.
Yeah. So, but it brings up the whole NIL issue. Alabama's clearly paying these guys
Oh, yeah.
boatloads, right? That's
probably
been
brand
going
new.
on before NIL.
Yeah. Okay, I'm glad you said it. Thank you.
Right.
Above board payoffs. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that also means that their pocketbook isn't unlimited. And Alabama saying, no, Nick Saban, these players are like, I can go somewhere else. And the money's good. So the prestige isn't everything. The prestige is a lot. The money isn't everything. You can go make money other places. Alabama might have to dig themselves up out of the ground a little bit. And I'm okay for it. I would love to see this program that is one of the best in college football history bring themselves back up and bring themselves back to a championship level.
Well,
do I
right.
want to see it next year? Nah.
And it's been a
I
whole-
give them 10 years
But
to,
do it
to
the hard way.
Do it the hard way.
It's been a
right?
full 4 years since they've won the Natty. I mean, they're in the.
Listen,
yeah.
I am
losers.
I'm a firm believer that things all move in cycles. There'll be teams that are at the top. They'll be back at the bottom. If you think Alabama can't fall back to the bottom,
Oh,
let me
yeah.
tell you about the University of Miami Hurricanes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because people thought they would never have a bad season,
Yep.
and that has changed.
I mean, Texas fell off a cliff for 12 years. For Texas
Yeah, but fuck
terms.
'em.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Are you guys familiar with Cam McCormick? No, you're not. I
love
guarantee
that
you're
guy.
not.
Nope.
But he
Sounds
is
like a douche.
He is the first 9-year player
Oh, that guy. Yeah.
because of injuries
So right.
and COVID.
Injuries,
So,
COVID.
So
yeah,
2016 he redshirted at Oregon. 2018 through
From
2021
Bend, Oregon. Also,
he missed the season due to injuries and COVID. 2022 he returned to Oregon. 23 he transferred to Miami. 24 he's returning for his 9th season. I would like to read off a few names you might be familiar with
That are
Hold on.
from his high school
that are
recruiting
younger than
class.
him?
That his
Justin
high-
Herbert.
Jalen Hurts, Nick Bosa, Justin Herbert, DK Metcalf.
DK Metcalf has been
high
in the league for
school?
like 5
Yeah.
fucking
Those are
years.
the same high school recruiting
Yeah.
class.
Dude, DK has been in the league for 5 years.
We're already talking about is DK like past
Is
his
he
peak?
past his prime? Yeah, I know.
And no, he's not.
So yeah, let's see what this 25-year-old does returning to Miami this year. So
Fucking good for him.
yeah,
Like playing the system.
Hey, he
Good for
applied
him.
for that extra year. They gave it to him.
Is
Oh,
this
yeah, oh, yeah, yeah.
Miami of Ohio or the U?
This is the U.
I'd want to hang
Yeah,
out in Miami for another year. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So-
Ohio, God no.
No.
So sad news. Sports Illustrated. A statement
I
was
read
released.
about that.
A statement was released about mass layoffs. Mass layoffs.
Like almost entirely.
It's one of these things that I mean it.
Their magazine comes like quarterly now.
Yeah.
When is the last time you read a Sports Illustrated not on the can?
I was a
Genuine question.
I was a 10-year subscriber.
So no,
I still have a subscription.
so
It
do
shows
my
up like once every 3 months.
so does
it
my
really?
dad. But
Yeah,
it
I'm
was
saying.
like every week before. What the
Yeah,
fuck?
or maybe it's monthly. I don't fucking know.
but the
it's
point
not
I'm getting
happening.
at is like in high school, I would read that on purpose outside of taking a shit.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
today,
Yeah,
that's
right.
a dump.
It's not
Right.
just like taking
Okay,
a shit reading. You,
but
well,
this is
in a day,
no
yeah.
different than
No,
why
10 years ago
newspapers are
was- yeah.
failing.
It's all right.
All
It's
the, SI will exist. They're going to be writing stories on the internet.
it'll be freelance. It'll be an internet.
Yes.
But the reality is right. Like it's
But even the
If I'm
think
gonna
of how
get my
big the
news-
swimsuit edition was.
yeah. But
Still
Yeah.
is.
It's still it's I think it's still a sad day in general that you know this institution that we grew up with.
Yeah.
Were we supporting it to keep it healthy? No. Are we the reason it's failing?
I was, yeah.
Oh man, yeah. But like it's
Apparently Matt is. Yeah.
yeah right. At the same time, like you're right. It is the physical media. Obviously, that's going to be the
But paying
you know,
true, like, reporters, true journalists, you know? They would get to the heart of a lot of shit.
and
Like,
the,
I'm sorry it takes time to do fucking research.
the,
you know?
the depth of those articles. Yeah, that
Yeah.
is definitely when it comes to the journalism aspect.
No one cares about that shit
That
anymore.
that is a sad
you know?
thing. I'll say this: the ESPN Plus subscription that I have, which came with the bundle of Disney and
Yeah.
Hulu, right? If there's been a couple of games that I've been able to enjoy using ESPN Plus, but for the most part, I literally get to read those longer articles because I
Yeah.
have ESPN Plus, and I do like that. But here I am on the fucking computer. You know,
Yeah.
those are the kind of articles that you were getting through Sports Illustrated. And it's still a sad day. Is its time come? Yes, sure. But
I
hey,
have enjoyed
we
reading
can, we
them
can still
still.
pour one out.
Yeah.
Because it's nice, long, in-depth articles.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what we
It's
talk about
not
when you
your
stepped
quick.
out.
Sorry,
Yeah.
it's not your quick hit
Yeah.
stuff. I do still enjoy reading it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we're saying. Oh my god, you pay for people to actually research this shit, and they know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Like,
And you know, like I don't actually pay for it. Every year, my folks just get me a subscription to Sports Illustrated. They have for like 15 years now. And every year, there's like, "Hey, we got your Sports Illustrated
Yeah.
subscription again." I'm like, "All right, cool, that's awesome." Because I do like it. It's nice to have there to read when I
Yeah.
want to just.
When you're on the toilet.
well, like,
Yes.
year
White
after
privilege
year,
pays off. That's nice for you.
Because,
Matt.
like, especially like college football, like, there's too many fucking teams to know all of them. The college football preview issue was so fucking perfect. It was fantastic. you know?
Absolutely, because they had local writers
Oh, yeah.
writing about all
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
teams.
All right, let's jump into college basketball, men's college basketball. Texas State and Arkansas State. Literally, I don't care about these games at all.
What?
I know it,
Aw.
right? Except for the interruption that happened in the middle of the game when someone came out onto the court. I didn't say that he ran out into the court because he wheeled himself out on the court in his wheelchair wearing an I Love MILFs shirt. Good sir, you are the hero of the week.
Hats off.
Hats off.
Chef's kiss.
Fuck yes.
I am a Texas State alum, and I didn't know that happened.
Yeah.
This fucking fan. Yeah, let the man wheel himself out there.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful.
Who's going to
Beautiful.
tackle the guy in the wheelchair?
Right, right.
Yeah. No, he was gently pushed away. You know.
Well, they have
Yeah,
handles on the back,
yeah,
so it's
yeah.
pretty easy. Yeah.
So I think this one is going to be a soft lead into from NFL into just the worst. But I do want to talk about the UCF and Texas basketball
That's not
game.
a soft lead. That is just the worst.
So Texas was leading for the entire game. Right around the last 5 minutes
Careful.
is when
They'll try to find you.
when UCF pulled ahead and snuck out the win, 77-71.
Good for them.
Good for them.
Good for them.
Good solid
It's
win.
a solid win
It's
for
a
UCF.
Like,
real
in all
good win.
sports, UCF, fucking don't fuck around.
No,
yeah?
no. It's a really good win. But the story is really about Texas's coach, Rodney Terry, who got a little upset with the UCF players in the handshake line. He called out a number of them, and then in the presser was weeping about poor sportsmanship.
Oh.
Matt, you want to guess what this poor sportsmanship was?
I can, because it's something that the UT actually went to the Big 12 and got them to make illegal for other teams to do in games.
In football.
In conference.
Horns
in
down?
football.
Yep.
The horns
Holy
down.
shit.
Because if you know anything about UT, if you do the rock-on symbol, that you will, for rock and roll concerts.
No, there's no thumb. There's no thumb.
There's no,
It's
no
just-
thumb.
It's just the horns, no
Take
thumb.
that thumb away. You got the horns. That's the... Almost all Texas schools have a hand signal of some sort.
Yeah.
For the Red Raiders, it's a gun on each hand, guns up. For UT, it's the Longhorns. Now,
Aggies
they
with the
will do
thumbs.
this
Yeah.
in the
Yep.
faces of players when they get up from a first down or any of that. That's not taunting. But if any of those players should do the opposite, which is the horns down, they get flagged for that. And they act like whiny little snowflakes about this shit. And that is what he was complaining about.
You were winning for the entire game except for the last 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And these kids were excited and threw some horns down. And you fucking fell apart.
Yep.
And
That's
he-
the head coach.
and-
Soft
The head
butthole.
coach.
And his
Ah.
apology wasn't, I shouldn't have given them grief for doing that. It was, I wasn't trying to overshadow anyone. Get the fuck out of here. I'm so tired of this. Oh, you can't do that. It hurts my feelings. Fuck you. You don't want to have them do that? Win. It's an easy solution. If you win, they're not going to do that.
Well, the dumbest thing, I think, and this goes back a few years ago when they actually made it illegal during a football game.
Yeah.
If you know anything about longhorn cattle, if those horns go down at any point, you're in fucking trouble. That is right before they fuck you up. So that should be a fucking good thing too, you know? But like,
Absolutely.
handsy ass motherfuckers.
But this,
you know?
but this continuance of it's disrespectful when you can throw horns up,
Yep.
In their faces.
Yep.
right? But you can't go horn. It's so sad. It's so.
I hope the SEC
soft
tells them they
butthole.
can kiss their
Yeah.
asses with that.
To me, it's
Yeah.
just the worst. So yes,
It is
Here
just
we
the
are
worst.
into our next segment of just the worst.
I have one other one that I would like to throw onto that. Not connected, but I found it very funny. Because Micah Parsons decided he would not be on Skip Bayless's podcast this week because he was busy with his own podcast. And Skip Bayless's response was on Twitter, "Can't wait for Micah Parsons' podcast tomorrow. That's what he does best."
Shit.
oh,
Now,
what
I
a
took
dick.
a screenshot so I can quote you. Michael Parsons' response was, "You just a hating ass motherfucker who mad I didn't want to do your show. Where was all this when you were on my nuts wanting me to come on your show every Tuesday? You lame as fuck, Skip. Real shit, fake ass Cowboys."
We didn't get it.
Micah Parsons, baby.
No?
But you know what? Here we are talking about Skip Bayless,
Yeah.
right?
Hate that
I know,
motherfucker.
but
Oh.
I like it when someone comes back and is like,
Oh.
"You are full of shit."
He's making millions of dollars being a fucking troll. So
He
Yep.
is, and he's
I mean, he
making
knows
that
what he's
money.
doing. He
Yep.
knows he's being a
Yep.
clown.
He does. I liked hearing Micah Parsons call him out for being a fake ass Cowboys fan.
Fuck
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Fuck yeah.
Love it.
Yep.
Love
Oh, he
it.
is a
All right.
coat teller
yeah,
to no end.
Can I say my just the worst, but it's actually my just the best? It's Ray Lewis and Joe Flacco. Ray Lewis for being just the worst, minus the murders. But I was listening to an interview with Joe
Wait,
Flacco.
the murders are good.
Minus the murder.
Just the best minus the murder.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay.
All right, so they're interviewing Flacco, and they're talking about Ray Lewis as a player, and like obviously he's singing his praises for his on-the-field stuff. But Joe Flacco would get annoyed at how long it took him to come out of the tunnel and onto the field, and I thought that was incredible.
Nice. I have one. This is not football related.
Doesn't have to be.
You guys related? Are you guys aware of who James Dolan is?
Yeah, he's the owner of the Knicks.
Yeah.
And
Owner of the
he
Knicks.
sucks hard too.
Yeah, he owns Madison Square Garden. He's over the Rangers.
Didn't he have Charles Oakley banned?
Yes.
He did.
Yeah,
he
he
did.
did.
Charles
Yeah.
Oakley kind of earned it too, but you know.
Yeah.
He was kind of a dick.
He
Yeah.
was getting into a scrap with fans, so.
Both of them are kind of dicks.
But what is a dick that's white and has more power?
Indeed.
So James Dolan also has a band.
I was going to say he cares more about his cover
Where?
band than the Knicks.
Oh, I forget what like James Dolan and the Destroyers or something, god awful. The music is really mid, but boy does he gets awesome booking because you want to play Madison Square Garden, you can.
Yeah, be nice to him. And then,
Sure. Super rich. I've got a band that no one shows up to. It's like the worst beach rock you've ever heard. It's god awful. But that's not the worst about him. Well, that's the worst
No.
in
Musically
real life
about
about him.
Scott, just so you
There's-
know, it's JD and the Straight Shot Band.
That's it. That's it. JD and the Straight
Why
Shots.
not JD and the Dimes?
Here's what's just the worst, and this is all alleged. A Tennessee woman filed a lawsuit against him, accusing him of unwanted sex for nearly a decade.
Wow.
Sorry, unwanted sex nearly a decade ago.
Oh,
But there
okay.
were multiple encounters, also facilitating an encounter with disgraced Hollywood producer Harvey Weinstein, who also assaulted her. So all of this is alleged, but
There's a lot of smoke there.
a lot of smoke. Lot of smoke.
So what I'm hearing is there's gonna be new management at MSG pretty
And
soon.
a man who is so into himself that he gets pissed off when people don't show up to his concerts, which is on record. He throws hissy fits because people don't show up to his. Oh yeah.
How about practice and get better?
Well, maybe he's too busy with
Assaulting women. Yeah.
just the worst, allegedly.
I like it, though. That's a good just the worst, man. I like it.
I have an NBA just the worst.
Oh.
So I want you to guess this. There's two players here we're comparing. Games played. One is 1504.
Wow.
One is 1366.
Okay.
Games missed. 22. 155.
Okay.
NBA shortened seasons.
Oh, I think I know.
1
I think I know.
versus 3.
I do know.
Missed
I
the
do know.
playoffs. Never 4 times. Played the entire season, every single game, 16 times, 1 time. Guess the players.
I already know this.
Do you? Okay.
I completely know
Is
this.
LeBron player too?
LeBron is
LeBron is a player too.
I was going to guess
too.
LeBron has never missed the playoffs.
Nope.
No,
he has,
LeBron
he
has
has.
this.
Yeah.
He has missed the playoffs. Okay.
The other player is every single season they made the playoffs. Every
So,
season.
KD.
No, so
Good guess, but
oh, no,
no.
no. The games is what gives it away.
Mm-hmm.
1,500 games played. This is a man, and the argument is about longevity.
Yes.
And it's a shit meme that makes a shit point.
Is it Jordan?
No,
No.
Jordan
no.
didn't play that many games.
Is player one a current player?
No.
Oh, Kareem?
Okay.
Nope.
Wilt.
Nope.
Nope.
You ready? It's John Stockton.
It is John Stockton, sir. Yep.
John Stockton.
John Stockton has less turnovers too,
To say
Oh, yeah. Yep.
but he's up there.
to say that LeBron doesn't have good longevity because John Stockton has better longevity is a weak ass argument. Okay. Oh, so there's someone who clearly had a better career of not getting injured and played, more games. That doesn't diminish someone else's
Way
accomplishments.
more games.
Doesn't diminish someone else's
I'm not talking
accomplishments.
about accomplishments. I'm talking about showing up to your fucking job. Showing up to your fucking job that you're getting paid millions for.
But John Stockton is an example that is untouchable when
and
it
he
comes
is
to
the
that.
fucking high fucking mountain. Yeah,
Exactly,
yeah.
right. But it doesn't diminish LeBron having a really long career.
The number of times he didn't play because he didn't want to play.
Yeah.
That is fucking bullshit.
That was last week.
That is way too many times.
He only plays in the midseason tournament.
But it could be just the worst every fucking year of his career after year 5.
His
You
his
know?
percent of games played is elite level. John Stockton is mountaintop, untouchable.
Listen, Brian, don't get upset at this.
Uh,
But when I think
elite
about
level, I would say, and I'm biased. Robinson, Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili.
Tim Duncan didn't take rest
Tony
games?
Parker. Fuck no, they didn't.
fuck you, the Popovich crew always had rest games.
Ooh.
One or two at the
They're
very
the,
end of the
they're
season.
the team that started that rest game shit.
Soft in San Antonio.
LeBron
that's-
does it.
that's what people are saying.
regardless of if playoffs are their line or fucking not.
How many games did he miss out of 1,300?
In the same number of seasons, he only played 1366 to Stockton's 1504.
No, not again. Yeah, okay, I get
Hey,
it. What percentage is Stockton, to compare him to Stockton, who was right the absolute best for those stats, right? For longevity, like, and how much he played and how little he missed. All right, so to be second best, therefore you're a failure. That's what I don't like about that
He's
narrative.
not second best. LeBron? Percentage of games played?
In a 20-year career,
In a 20-year career, percentage of games played that have won at least one championship. So that gets rid of Stockton. He is like 25th on the list.
then I am incorrect.
And a lot of it is the last 5 years.
But I also want to point
I don't-
out, it's
I don't
not
like
just
the-
him. It's the entire NBA right now.
I don't like the.
I mean, look
like,
at your boy that used to play for the Spurs, that plays for the Clippers now.
Oh yeah,
Kawhi.
Kawhi's gonna put up fucking LeBron missing game numbers by the end of his season. By the end of his
I
career.
guarantee
I think he's
Kawhi's
already
missed
got
more
more.
games. I think he's missed more games.
Just the last
has,
two
he
seasons
has.
probably
Yeah,
puts him
right.
at that.
And
There's injuries there. Don't get me wrong.
But we were talking about. Oh, it might have been before the show. About like that fucking fight to fucking win. To always fucking play at your peak no matter what. You know? Why is that disappearing with elite athletes in the NBA?
All right, when you're a 20-year player, to look at those last years and miss chunks of time, because like if you look from 5 years ago, the injuries that he had was he didn't miss a lot of games except for serious injuries.
To play,
It's only been his later years that they've been
Even
racking
his
up.
serious injuries, he's been cleared to play and still sits out for 3
Okay,
fucking weeks.
I have a legitimate question. Then,
Like Moses Malone played till he was like 45
I have a legitimate
and
question.
barely
then.
missed a game.
If
you
he
know?
was not feeling great, do you think if he was suited up to play, that either he or the coach would be willing to say, "Get out of the game. I am too hurt to be playing right now," if he was actually able to play?
You think coaches control LeBron James? Fuck no. LeBron James is like, oh, this team has no fucking shot. I'm gonna sit out. Fuck that. Fuck that. During the in-season tournament, oh, he was fucking healthy as shit.
That's what I mean.
As soon as it's over, oh, I don't feel like playing anymore.
Yeah.
You know.
We're not gonna raise a banner in fucking December. I'm not showing up.
Exactly.
Also,
you know?
just can I rewind to Stockton for a second? Trust tree moment. I was about 20 years old when I figured out that John Stockton was not the mailman, and that was actually Karl Malone.
I mean, I can see that.
He's
'cause, like,
distributing the mail, the assists.
Yeah,
He's handing
yeah.
shit out.
Yeah.
That
I mean, it makes
makes a lot
more
of sense.
sense.
Yeah.
It makes more
like
sense.
he's passing
yeah.
shit around.
Yeah, but
And it's more
Karl
about-
Malone always delivers when he takes a young girl out.
Oh,
Is that a thing?
Speaking of that fucking.
Oh,
oh
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, all right.
Oh yeah.
Allegedly.
Oh, that-
Allegedly.
yeah.
Oh no, there's no alleged to that.
There's been no civil penalties levied against him.
Yeah, and Ray Lewis didn't kill 2 guys. Where's the suit, Ray?
Like that mentality of athletes that seems fucking unique to the NBA.
I think we need to table this. We need to dig in after the show because I think when you're looking at 20 years of basketball,
Oh, that's a long fucking career.
you need
Yeah.
to look at where it started and where it ended.
Yeah.
You know,
That's fair.
There's very few people that have played in that level, that stratosphere.
And
John
also,
Stockton played for fucking ever.
Oh, and he was fucking far away, like the golden example.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
So right. That's
Also,
what, yeah.
he's
I
an
will
idiot.
admit it's
Have you
unfair
heard
to
him
compare
talk?
those two.
Right.
He's
you
an
know?
idiot.
I'd love to see.
He probably played through shit he shouldn't have.
Maybe. Yeah.
Guy Cal Ripken should have taken a day or two off. There was times he was probably a detriment to his team.
Very possibly. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
like I'm not saying that they should have as many games off that as LeBron takes, but there is something to be said for it, dude. You need to rest. Like you are a hindrance right now at some aspect of this. You can't tell me every one of Stockton's games was fucking great. It wasn't. Don't get me wrong. One of the greatest point guards of all time. But you know there was games he played when he should not have been out there.
With him, I don't know. But I mean, he's also like he's got that build. I mean, like
Yeah.
Cal Ripken is a good
Right.
example.
The
Like
a Slater
they can
build.
just do it.
You're
Yeah.
not in there
Yeah.
getting into as many scraps.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and if there was someone that was
Yeah.
going to get hammered on, it was going to be Carl Malone.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like Stockton's
Oh, yeah.
like, hey, here you go.
Yeah,
Like that
You take
screener.
that hit.
There's a reason
Yeah.
that screener roll works so well.
yeah, yeah.
It's because Malone was knocking the fuck out of somebody, so that Stockton could just dump the ball right back to him.
But even like, I mean, fucking Muggsy Bogues played what 15 seasons.
He did.
And he was the smallest fucking dude.
I tell you what,
know?
it was a lot of fun to watch Muggsy Bogues though, because like the 10 seconds to get up to half court, it took every bit of that when he was on his game, like that little fucking water bug, basically just bouncing all around you, like you could not speed up the court.
I like the water bug
Yeah,
analogy.
but it was like just dancing all around,
Yeah,
slowing you
yeah.
down so much you couldn't just sprint up the court against him.
And,
He
like,
was so much fun to watch.
On the other end, like Shaq is the biggest motherfucker to ever play in the NBA.
yeah,
And like he didn't fucking take those rest days. And
he also should have.
And his knees are fucking destroyed
Yeah,
because of it,
his body
you
was
know?
wrecked.
But he fucking did it because that was his fucking job, you know? Even when he played on a shitty ass fucking team, you know?
That's fair. All right, that's just the worst for this week. But I would be remiss if I didn't bring up the time for Squeak Streaks.
Does he have a streak?
No.
With only like 2 games
Yeah,
left?
no, in the playoffs, no shot.
All right, I got a streak for Squeak then.
Okay, here we go. The
Buffalo
Chiefs,
Bills
the
have made it
Chiefs
to
lose
4
this-
Super Bowls.
Yeah, all right. Don't do this.
They'll be in a 5th,
Here's my
but
streak.
they will not win.
2 years ago, the Chiefs beat the Bills with 13 seconds left. I could see something comparable happening this evening.
God.
Chiefs win with the last minute of the game.
And
There's your
that
streak.
is a Buffalo Bills fan for
Yeah.
you.
Yep.
All right, so that's just the worst. Let's go on to next week's predictions. Obviously, we don't know who's going to win the Bills-Chiefs game yet, although one of our resident Bills fans thinks it'll be the Chiefs. So the very
With a
first,
run like that, it looks pretty
Yep,
likely.
the first game that we're going to talk about, the Green Bay Packers could not beat the 49ers, so now the Lions are going to travel to San Francisco in a matchup that at the beginning of the season could have been predicted. Not by any of us accurately.
to never happen in the playoffs.
Yeah, right?
Well, we all thought Detroit had what it took to win that Central, or the North. And we all, I think, picked the 49ers to win the
Yeah.
West.
Yep.
I don't know if they played this year. I need
But
to look
for them
into
to
that
come
real
into the
fast.
fucking NFC Championship game,
I was gonna say, yeah.
None
to
of us
predict,
predicted
no,
that, yeah.
No.
like not the Lions, you know.
Well, and to be honest, San Fran, like we didn't know that Brock Purdy was gonna be this level quarterback. So I don't know that we might have said, boy, if San Francisco can
If
pick
Purdy
up where
can
they left off,
maintain what-
yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
Yeah,
Then right, but even still, that didn't feel like a great
yeah.
choice. I don't like. I was like, yeah, I like what's going on in Detroit, but to put him in the divisional playoffs,
Yeah.
Conference.
conference playoffs, like, ooh,
So, I mean, this is the real question here. Like, Brock Purdy and that offense, I think, is going to be humming. Because the Lions' defense is not spectacular. They gave up over 300 yards passing to Baker Mayfield today.
Yep.
that's really
And the Bucs secondary had a lot of dropsies.
Yep.
Yep.
For the 49ers, their defense is...
And now we're going to see Taylor. God damn it.
Their defense has some real players on it. They also have Trent Williams at left tackle. We have talked about their offense before, but Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, Brendan Ayuk, Jawan Jennings, George Kittle,
All of them.
Elijah Mitchell at your backup running back who
Okay.
runs fucking
Right.
hard.
Eh,
But the Lions, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta, Jameer Gibbs, David Montgomery, and again, like it really sucks to see David Montgomery having success on
For
another
you.
team. But I am also still so happy for that player. He was nothing but professional and always showed up and played hard for the Bears. I'm glad to see him having success.
I feel like Jameer Gibbs being so good lit
truly
a fire
am
under his ass. Though,
and Jason
you know?
Kelsey celebrating with a shirt off
Fucking shirtless.
is glorious.
with a blue light.
That is the best thing I have seen all day.
I do like.
Sorry, Eric. Sorry.
But I mean, we got our asses handed to us last week.
yeah. But little
Fucking
bro's playing.
The
Yeah,
little bro
yeah.
Also,
Oh.
you got upset they were
So
showing that.
good. So good.
Hey, you can't see it because he's off camera, but Eric got very upset when they showed Taylor Swift. I like seeing them show that same box and showing Jason Kelsey's
Yeah.
shirt
Yeah.
off and
Yeah,
celebrating.
well, Jason Kelsey's likable.
You don't know her.
Oh yes, right. The most popular entertainer in the world is clearly not
Who
likable.
treats all of her staff fucking like gold. Yeah, she's unlikable. Yeah.
Incredibly. Do you know the carbon emissions from her private plane alone?
Oh my god!
Yeah. You guys recycle. You should be outraged.
How old is your Tacoma? I bet that's as much emissions as her fucking jet.
14 years.
Yeah.
The joy she brings to billions.
Right.
Okay.
As she's
We're getting
destroying
a little
habitats.
distracted here. Detroit travels to the 49ers.
All right, so
We love Dan Campbell, but let's be honest here. The head coach for the 49ers.
all right, ready? Good. I have been doing great on my picks. I've been on a fucking hell of a streak.
Yeah, yeah,
Winning over the past like 6-7 weeks, winning most of those weeks.
yeah, yeah.
But you know what? I'm on the Detroit pain train.
Oh, I like it.
Give me the Lions. Give me the Lions. Fucking caution to the wind, baby.
So my head is picking the San Francisco 49ers, but I'm also picking the Lions because just how good would that be if you're some kid in Detroit and you're just like, we have sucked my entire life. And when I say kid, I mean like a 45-year-old. You can finally be like, fuck yes.
So Eminem.
But yeah, put me down for the Lions.
I wish I could go with a hard pick. I want the Lions to win it. I don't see how it can happen. I mean, they struggled against the Bucks. They really did, which was not a good fucking sign. And the Niners, like,
Struggled against Green Bay.
slow start, waking up to a team that really like is kind of an unexpected, better than they should be team. I think the Lions
True.
The Lions have done everything they can do all season long, and the Niners are ready for that.
Yeah.
And Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce's touchdown that just occurred. We are watching the game for those of you that are listening to this in a few days. Just tied Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski for the most
Nice.
quarterback to any receiver for touchdowns in the postseason.
Oh, yeah.
15.
I like it. Yeah.
That's impressive.
And Brady to Gronk, big numbers.
Also,
So-
by the way, Patrick Mahomes' first road game
In the playoffs.
as a starting quarterback in the playoffs.
Yeah, yeah.
Says a lot for how good that team's been since he got there.
Yeah.
no, that was last week.
No, they
No, he
played,
played
at home.
last
Was
week.
it home
It was like
Yeah.
negative
Oh, that's right.
20
Yeah, the
in
negative.
Kansas
Yeah,
City.
right.
The broken home and everything.
I am taking
yeah,
San
yeah.
Francisco to win next week.
It's because you're tired of wearing your Packers koozie?
I was tired of wearing it before it ever went on a beer. So yes, I am going to take San Francisco to win. It's a weak reason. There's no fun in it. Is probably a better way to put it. It's the better team.
yeah, I mean that's
They're
me
just
too.
overall
That's me too.
the better
Yeah.
team.
Well, apparently the script was leaked to a Canadian news station that said, you know, the
Ravens and the 49ers.
yeah, like they've already said that that's going to be the case. So, you know.
Well, I mean, listen, coming into the playoffs, you look at the entirety of
Yeah,
the
they
season,
were the number
they're
one seed
two
team, yeah,
best
right,
teams,
yeah.
and it has been that way
Yeah.
the entire season.
Yeah.
Well,
I-
if Katie's gonna be there, then whoop. Yeah,
Whoop.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm going with San Francisco to beat the Lions.
Bills or KC at the Ravens.
All right, regardless of who wins this, it's going to be an uphill battle for them. The Ravens' offense doesn't even need Lamar Jackson to throw for 200 yards passing
Nope.
to win. Their defense is just as legit as the 49ers. They do not have the offensive weapons the 49ers do. They do have Zay
Lamar
Flowers. They have Lamar Jackson.
Isaiah Likely.
Isaiah Likely.
Oh.
Mark Andrews is.
I was going to
he's
say,
back this week.
I was
Yes.
literally about to say
see,
Mark
yeah,
Andrews
yeah.
is going to fuck that up for sure.
Yep. They do still have a certain wide receiver that did a lot of things for the Giants.
Fuck that guy. Fuck
Oh,
that guy.
Odell's had a nice season.
He had like what 2 catches. Come on.
He's had a
But
good season.
Odell Beckham can blow up for a
When it
70-yard
matters,
touchdown
that's true. Yeah.
at the drop of a hat.
Those few ones he gets that are fucking timely and impressive.
He's had
yeah.
this was a really good season for him. It really felt like he came in a lot more humble and said,
yeah.
you know what, like I've like the past 3 years have not been good for me, and I whined and cried. Oh no, he got the Super Bowl with the Rams, right?
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He got hurt
But-
during the Super
but he
Bowl.
didn't really do anything.
Right.
Yeah.
But it seems like he's just out there like, okay, you know what? I just got to be here to ball, and that's it. So I can respect that now. He went through a period where, like, come on, guy, you are not an ambassador of this sport. he's still dangerous. You can't count him out.
Nope.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say,
The better game would probably be if it was the Bills and the Ravens.
yeah.
I think.
Give
Because
me Bills over Ravens, but give me Ravens over Chiefs.
Oh, you make me do work.
I know.
All right.
I know.
I'm going to pick the Ravens regardless. I think they just, again, it's a boring reason. They are just the more complete team
They are.
compared to those other two.
They are.
The Chiefs have so many question marks at wide receiver. Their defense, I have a lot of faith in.
Mm-hmm.
The Bills, I mean, they have the one quarterback that can produce running the ball and throwing the ball that can wreck a defense. Don't get me wrong, Patrick Mahomes is mobile enough to avoid pass rush, to throw down the field. He's not going to be the guy, though, that runs down 15 yards, plows over your safety, and keeps going for another 5 to get a first down like Josh Allen will. Now, granted, Josh Allen's career is going to be short if he doesn't stop that shit at some point. But I think that the Ravens just have too many weapons right now.
All right, Scotty, you said if it's Bills, Ravens, who?
Bills,
But if it's KC, Ravens.
Ravens.
Okay.
And I will say, of the two teams, I think the Bills would have the better chance to beat the Ravens. But the Ravens' defense is just so good.
I see it like either way, like Matt. I see it being the Ravens' year. I just do.
It does. It feels like
Like-
they're going to go and win the Super Bowl. Like, to be honest, I mean, even if they end up against San Francisco, that doesn't look very good for San Francisco.
The Bills pick is I just want to see the Bills get there. They're the wild card out there. It seems like these past 5 weeks, every game is like a wild card shot.
Yeah.
Like
Every game for them has been
It's
a
the
playoff
last
game.
7 weeks. Literally, the last 7 weeks have been do or die for
Yeah,
the Bills.
it's
Yeah,
just-
you either win
Yeah.
or you are
Yeah.
going home.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
been that way since.
And the
almost
Ravens
midway
have just
through
been
the
playing
season.
like a
7 weeks-
machine.
No, like literally 7
Yeah.
weeks has been
Yep.
you have to win this fucking game.
and the Ravens are
Yeah.
just playing like a machine out there.
Yeah.
And they have so much depth at running back. I know it sounds like they don't, but Justice Hill, Gus Edwards, they signed Dalvin Cook for a reason I'm still not sure.
Why? 2 years ago, wasn't he a Pro Bowler on
Why
Minnesota?
not? Yeah, why not?
And he didn't
Yeah.
play on the Jets. Do you think he tried? Aaron Rodgers went down in 3 minutes, and he was like, "This is not the team." Here I am, like I don't. Maybe
Cut
I just,
me. Cut me.
Yeah.
Cut
right.
me.
Yeah.
So the Bills.
Straight up. I like it. Finally, you're supporting your fucking team. I like
Bills
it.
are going to beat the Chiefs. Bills are going to beat the Ravens. We're on it since Las Vegas.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yep.
Folks, his head almost blew up saying
Yeah,
that. It's
I
a
know.
little weird.
I'm going to regret that in like 10 minutes, but
Blew the hair right off the top of his head.
No, it's locked in now. You can't regret it. Yeah.
No going back. No takesy backsies. All right. Did you make your pick, Brian?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, Ravens across the board.
Okay. So there you have it. Brian and I both think that it'll be the Ravens 49ers in the Super Bowl, and there's a little toss-up as to who'll be meeting them amongst the other two.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Any last thoughts before we move on?
That's enough.
yeah.
We got a game to watch.
We got
and
wings
this is
to eat.
we got wings to eat. This is an incredible game. This is what we're here for. Playoff football that is
Oh, nice. Oh,
just
fucking open.
everything you
Nice.
want it to be. So
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, very few of the games have been like so much of an ass whooping that I didn't think it was an interesting
If you
game.
watch them, they were all good.
Even
all of them.
even
Yeah.
yesterday, the Texans game was
Yeah.
great till halftime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Third quarter.
Yeah, like it was a
Yeah.
wonderful,
Yeah.
yes, 2.5 quarters.
Yeah, for me, I think it's amazing. Like every year, you're like, well, these quarterbacks are gone. Who's going to step up? And it's always players that you don't suspect will step up. And between C.J. Stroud, Puka Nacua, it's been so much fun this
Yeah.
season watching these players, not necessarily come out of nowhere, but develop
Yep.
and become the players that they can be. It's a
Oh,
lot
I'm
of
sure
fun
we'll
to
talk
watch.
about our Rookie of the Years and Comeback Players of the Years next week.
Oh, we're
So,
gonna have
yeah.
to absolutely.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
gonna have to go back and see how bad we were on those picks, and
Yeah.
it was bad
Because we always pick them really early, so, yep.
because we certainly. I don't think any of us picked C.J. Stroud.
Nope.
No.
Nope. Puka might have been on somebody's list.
I don't think so. I think Bijan was probably on most everybody's list.
Not mine. Nope.
Okay. All right. Well, that is our show for this week. We are going to dig into some wings. Mm-hmm. Maybe a little bit of Greggy's Pizza since he wandered off. I'm not
Yep,
sure where
yep.
he's at. And yeah, we're gonna finish watching this game and hopefully watch the Bills wins because it's always better for this area of New York when the Bills are winning.
Always. So much more fun.
All right. For those of you that got onto YouTube, sorry we were a few minutes late, but we wanted to watch the end of that Lions game. We will be back next Sunday. Not sure what time. We'll make sure and put out a little TikTok video of what time it'll be happening on Sunday because we do want to be able to enjoy watching the games also. We are on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. If you are watching on YouTube and need to duck out a little bit and can't watch all the video, you can check out the rest of it that way. But I am Matty Fax. That's Scotty Stats. Riley Professor. Dick Woodcock. He of the size 2 children's shoes. And the smallest head in the room.
I don't know.
I don't know about that. I mean,
Regardless, we're half the distance live. Thank you very much for checking us out. We hope you have a wonderful week. Hope you enjoy the second half of this game, and we'll see you next Sunday when we have a little more answer of what's happening. Y'all have a wonderful week.